Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Spiritual Ranch. I'm Shesh Not Known the Way, Off-Grid Oracle. Welcome to our channel, and welcome to the new world, disorder. And so we got Mitzi here. We're gonna give her a treat because we like that. And so she, she's been going on. She yaks a lot, which doesn't get a treat, you know. And so anyhow, here we are. It's another. Man, it's Christmas Day. That's what it is. 25th, you know. Strange. A lot of feelings about that one. I guess a lot of people have a lot of feelings about that one, and I don't know. With me, with the OGO, it's always been a time of like getting my feet back on the ground. I guess half in the ground, and that's what it is right now, energetically speaking. And so. I mean, the anxiety and the turmoil I experience, honestly, around these holidays actually stems from childhood trauma. It's a long story, but like Christmas was a touchy subject in my house when I was a kid growing up, and so for what it's worth. But so I always kind of have that emotion, the anxiety. That's like kind of it's always what it is. There's other reasons I have to be excited, but the holiday season definitely has like always been anxiety for me. For that reason. And so right now, I think a lot of us experience that honestly too, though. And probably more minor ways, but definitely a lot of people experience that. And so that's probably the energies that are occurring right now. And so if y'all are feeling just a little bit anxiety, hang in there, And we're gonna go ahead and pull some cards here, and we're gonna fucking see what we gotta see to see what Spirit wants to say. Just for advice, right? We're gonna get some advice from Spirit because, half time I'm on here just talking shit. But every once in a while we actually sit down, we do tarot reading. So we're gonna ask Spirit for some guidance here. We're gonna say thank you, Father and Mother God, Most High. Because without Father God Most High, we have nothing, and they do daily bless us with our bread, and they teach us how to move, and in their life, we really are grateful for that. That's chosen ones, and so thank you, Father God, and thank you, Spirit, and so I'm gonna go ahead and do this then, and see what we come up with. I'm just gonna try to do a little short one. I'm gonna slap it out there. I had another one. A couple videos I did, I'm gonna post them tomorrow, and so it's gonna be all backwards. I said I know I was gonna post it on Christmas Day, but I'll just go ahead and just slap this one out there and say hi and ho ho ho, I don't know, man. It's nice to laugh, The energies have been heavy. The energies have been. They've been real heavy this week. I felt that coming in. It's funny how things work, and so I don't know. Yeah, put in the comments, like how the energies have been where you're at, because I base that off of the weather, It's like when the weather patterns come in, they get kind of inconsistent. I feel like the spirits are always a little bit heavier energy to work with, and it has a physical effect on us for sure. But like, there's been some real heavy energies. Things switched up, and so I mean, damn, actually, really, honestly, the whole West Coast is flooding. And so it's like, there you go, there you have it. And so things that were going smoothly, it's like, yeah. So it's like right now, we're in energy where things might feel catastrophic, and that's affecting all of us who are really sensitive chosen ones. Because again, just like when that flooding occurred in Jamaica, that's like a big, it's like an energy harvest. It's it's like if this is if it's natural causes, which nowadays, it's hard to say what is and what isn't natural, and that's a real big problem that we're having out here. When man gains control of the weather. They can easily make the masses question their faith in God, and that's scary. And I think that there's a lot of energy in the ethers right now that we might be all experiencing and feeling, but it's what it is, because there's a lot of people right now who are experiencing catastrophic flooding. They're experiencing loss, and so it's like they're in an emotional state of like, oh shit, what am I going to do? They're anxiety right now, And so those of us who are the super empaths, we're picking that up right now. And so we got to make sure that we don't let that become our energy too, and don't let that affect us, because it's not that we don't have it's not that we're like trying to not have compassion for the people who are suffering. It's just that we're super empaths, and so it's like we could be feeling that way, and that could spill over into our life and areas in our life that should be going smoothly, you know. And so it's like we got to know how to move with the weather, you know. That's what I've been trying to talk about, and I did a video where I was talking about that, you know. And so that's what's going on right now. And so we got to just hold, you know, right now that yeah, page cups right there is really recognizing again, our reaction to or how and what energetically triggers us and brings up those child wounds, you know. And so we're definitely in a season also on top of it because it's like Christmas Day, man, and people have been getting flooded and stuff. I mean, it's been raining its ass off here too, you know. And so everybody right now is having the child wounds come to the surface. And so what we need to do, you know, to counter that, to kind of like not feed the beast, you know, by allowing that to trigger our internal emotions of feeling like a lost child or feeling like we don't have the emotional like we're anxiety, you know, emotionally not able to cope really, you know. Well, that's just because of the loss that's going on around us, you know. And it don't matter if you're on the other side of the world and you never even heard of the state of California. It doesn't matter because like you're a super empath, you know, and so you got something that's triggering you that is like so far outside of you, but it's other human beings that are suffering on the other side of the planet, you know. But you have that such sensitivity, such of a super empathic skills that's like giving you a lot of unease, you know. And so it's like spirit's telling you right now to go ahead and feel okay because that's in the upright position, you know. And so this child here has learned how to like recognize those things and quell that anxiety, you know. And so that's what spirit's really saying with um, that page of cups there on the bottom of the deck. And so, you know, and it's also saying too, also like for those of us who carry trauma, you know, associated with, you know, childhood confusion, you know, like things that we were, environments that we were raised in that gave us anxiety. Straight up. 5 wands, right? And so like we were confused, you know. We all have that, like I said right now, and don't be confused as to what is triggering your anxiety right now. And so be very cautious about how we react to certain situations, you know. And so it's like not a matter of it's a matter of not taking the little things right now, or like little fry shit, or like just like the petty issues, taking them too out of extreme, you know. And also this card here with the 5 of wands is telling us to really pay attention to the details too, you know. That's like saying that like you know what's going on, like, you know. And so don't let the clutter or the confusion or like other people shift it up around you if there's like things, you know, emotional situations that are kind of like, hey, wait a minute, you know, like I said, because the weather's changed, so it's like, whoa, things change, right? And so with this 5 of wands, it's saying don't be confused by it, be aware, you know. And go inside yourself and recognize like what's causing that emotional clutter too inside yourself that would cause you to react in a way that isn't accordingly, you know. And that would be also confusing. And so it's like most importantly too right now is we don't want to be confused ourselves. We don't want to confuse ourselves. And so we got to listen to our inner child too right now, because that's how we're going to heal them, right? And so if our higher self is our therapist in life, always constantly teaching us and working through us in our internal space and through our intuition and through our all our connections that we have with the ethereal and the divine, you know, then we are also that therapist to our inner child, you know. And so we carry the wisdom of the high one, and we need to hand that down to our internal child that we carry that needs to heal right now, so that those bouts of anxiety or like even attacks from outside of, it's like, you know, because it's like not even attacks, it's just that our sensitivity, you know, it's like it's easy to be triggered when you're extremely sensitive, you know. And the page of cups is extremely sensitive, you know. And so it's like important right now that we you know, let Father God lead, guide, and direct us, and recognize fully what is ours, and stand in that light, and allow Father to illuminate our path, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and trust God, with that page of cups again on the bottom, other on the page of cups is right there. Yeah, man. And too, because like with that Five of Wands coming out and with the Sun card here, that's saying that don't be confused. Like really pay attention, and don't let anything that is confusing or like other people's confusion confuse you. It's like exactly what it is that you've had to had to become. Like, well, again, I mean, this is a baby sitting on that horse. You know what I'm saying? And so that's like a child of God that's being led by God. And so we've had to really give it over to God. And when we do that, we have to learn to live free of anxiety, because it's an energy that we don't heal in, and we're healers, And so Father's saying, well, no, I showed you the secret, child. I showed you the truth, and you've buried your soul to me. And you said, okay, Father, I'm gonna be that light that you're asking me to be, that bright light that you want me to be, And God's saying, well, you gotta make sure that you stand in a position on that horse, when you're on that horse, that you trust God right now. You trust me. And so even though the situations that might be around you seem confusing, the truth inside of your own heart space, and what's actually going on around you. You're not confused whatsoever. You're not in that struggle right there. You're set aside, and so you don't have to worry about getting whacked in the head by anybody else's wand right now. And that's what God's telling you, and protect that position too, And so like this horse rides into victory, not into chaos, And so we're in a position right now to really four fucking cups right there at the bottom of the deck. And so we're in a position right now to really, we need to see, And so it's like, this is the job. This is our job as chosen ones. This is what we've been chosen for. This is what we've been selected for, And that's why they're trying to teach us right now and get us to really see why, with this Four of Cups, why we are what we are, And it's like, why, like, these things that we allow to affect us, these three cups that are in front of us that don't serve us, those are emotional states that we fall into that take us out of our healing energy and out of our energy to manifest. We just sit there with our arms crossed, and we really don't do jack shit that we should be doing when Father God's trying to give us that cup right there out of the clouds. That's exactly the thing that we need to see, that we and so that's God telling you that, hey, I love you, but and like, as long as you pay attention what's going on here, instead of be focused on that other shit that has always drug you down in the past, and so it's like grow up time, it's what it is, it's like with this one here, it's like might be a child, but that's a individual who has healed their inner child, and so now they can be a grown ass motherfucker, and they can ride their own horse, right? And so God's saying, well, come on now. That's that Ace of Cups, that Four of Cups right there. That's that Ace of Cups. But we have to see it, and we got to get our head out of the past. Like we can't keep reliving situations that haven't served us in the past, because we're being offered like a whole brand new way for us to go about doing things that are gonna give us cup overflowing with abundance of emotional wealth, and that's gonna make us have a confidence to get up from that fucking tree right there where we've been sitting and kind of crying about shit, and boldly approach the world, like this whole ass motherfucker right here can ride that horse, So bam, that's good energy, guys. We just gotta get through this stage of confusion that we're in right now, which is definitely associated with the like I said, man, it's what's going on, It's the energies, like, like like this doing this channel thing has been really interesting for me. It's been a real trip, actually, because like even right now, sitting here thinking about it, how many videos back did I say the sun was shining when I did that video, and I knew the weather was coming. Of course, I checked the weather, but I didn't know it was going to be catastrophic, I didn't know it was going to cause all the grief it caused, because like right over the hill from me, even here in Reading, I mean, Reading is a city that's close by, close city to me, actually. It's not much of a city, but they got flooded big time, you know, and they're suffering a lot of loss. And same with like LA, all over the place, Oregon, you know, my family is up there. And I, you know, I said that the heavy energies were coming, you know, and so it's kind of, man, it's just been a little creepy, you know, it's a little spooky. It's like George Washington shot in the throat, you know, and so we need to really like right now, as chosen ones, you know, we gotta be. I mean, come on, man, you know, recognizing the abilities that we have here and the gifts that we have, and trust it because we know it's like we don't, you know, you don't know, no, we all have different abilities, you know, and they play out in different ways, you know, and so I need to trust my weather divination. That's what spirit's telling me. They're in that cloud, you know, they've really handed me a cup of wisdom, and that's telling me to really trust my intuition, you know, and so it's teaching us right now to really trust our intuition if we want to see clearly the path ahead of us, you know, and how to walk that path, trusting God, you know, because God ultimately is the cloud where that cup is coming from, and so without God we don't have intuition, you know, and that's why there's seemingly so many blind individuals out here, you know, with this. That's the page wands with the five of swords, okay, and so that five of swords carries a little different energy on it today, you know, and so that's on the split. But with that five of swords coming out with that page of wands, that's that energy of you know, it's like again, you know, it's like with healing child wounds comes with like healing the wounds of all the things that we've suffered from throughout our lives because we operated from a space that carried like an unhealed child, you know, and so it's like we had a lot of situations in life that should have turned out like way differently, but they didn't, you know, because we a lot of us weren't given the proper upbringing, you know, because like the family unit has been really destroyed in our country, you know, and so there's a lot of disconnection, you know, and inability to connect with others around us because of that energy of the broken family, you know, and that's the child wounds that we've been carrying, and so with that five of swords energy, that's the reason why it's like when, right now, as we feel this anxiety, as we're processing the things in our lives that are going on, that spirit is asking us to process because we're chosen ones, and so we're getting some heavy energies to work with. That's what they put on our plate, you know. And so the energies that we're working with are those energies of accepting like where we went wrong because we were very childish, you know, because we understand it's like we can't blame our childhood as adults, you know, for the actions that we've taken, but we could definitely recognize ourselves as grown ass motherfuckers, the areas in our life where we should have been a lot more, you know, mature, that our growth was stunted, you know, that there was a much better way to do things, and we're seeing that right now. But what spirit's asking us to do is to transmute that energy into confidence and trust and faith, you know, with them, and knowing that's like, well, okay, because also like we can recognize in those areas how with Father God, they did handle us exactly like you would handle a child that's misbehaving, you know, but that doesn't know any better, kind of, you know, and so it's like, yeah, we were disciplined for sure, but we were protected at the same time, and so we got a lot of growth also out of that five of swords in that energy where we were fucking making a lot of mistakes, and so now we got the two cups here on the bottom deck, yeah. And that's what that is right there. That's ability to really see yourself in both the shadow and the light, and really understand and heal those wounds, you know, so that then you have a whole ass cup that you can offer up, or that you have a cup that's so confident and big enough for you that you that's all you need, you know, like you're healed, right? You heal. Two cups. Anyhow, that's what we're doing today. Chosen ones, two cups just want to pop out there. That two cups is good energy, you know. That's that energy of really seeking within, you know, and for your own truths, and really recognizing yourself, you know, for as being like the boss over your own destinies right here, because that's the Queen of Wands, right? And so the things that you manifest are going to manifest best when we're not divided within, you know. And so it's like, don't let any kind of confusion out here, you know, get inside your own house and cause disorder or cause clutter or cause chaos right now. Be really paying attention to, you know. And so it's like the King of Pentacles is like that, you know, staying very grounded right now, staying sure-footed, staying, you know, no clutter, you know, paying attention to the truth, you know, being upright, being legit on that, you know, with the Queen of Wands too on the bottom of the deck there. And so that's also having a like being a passionate leader, you know. And so it's like don't be real stubborn, you know. The Queen of Pentacles, it can be an energy that maybe tries to you know, like they're the bull, you know. And so they have an energy that kind of pushes, you know, they're whereas like the Queen of Wands, you know, that's the fire energy, you know. And that's how fire is really like, you know, forward moving, right? And so right now, don't let the confusion or any confusion that we might be experiencing here block us from standing in that Sun card energy and receiving our Ten of Cups. Okay, and so that's ho ho ho. That's not a ho ho ho, but without a big fat man coming down a chimney. And so Ten of Cups, yeah, full card bottom deck. So hey guys, that's good energy. Okay, and so it's like, yeah, the energy has been heavy, you know, but recognize that like that's that, you know, in due time all things change, you know, right? And so it's like you have a some, you know, it's like if you really look at it, like I was trying to say here, you know, like with the energies, you know, like you're sensitive, you know, we're empaths, man. Like anybody that's if you're listening to a tarot read, I'm gonna say for the most part, I mean, you gotta be somewhat empathic. You gotta have some feelings in there, you know, or at least like, you know, you gotta have something, I guess. You gotta be, you know, and so you know what I'm talking about. And so it's like, you know, we'll get through it here. We'll get through the holidays. We'll get to the new year, you know, and like, and well, I mean, you know, there's good things on the horizon, and so there's great change. God has promised us great change. You know, there's promise from God, you know, and that's the thing, and that's going to be for everybody, you know. It's just that's what it is, you know, because God's not here just to heal a couple, you know, like they need us to help them. That's why there's 144,000 of us, you know, and like honestly, like if you know how God does business, that's a big ass. It's a lot of help, you know, and so it's just that we gotta be down to trust it right now, you know, and see ourselves in that big plan, see ourselves in the plan, make a plan, you know, come up with a plan because it's time for that, you know, and that's what we gotta do, and that's the energies right now, and so chin up, you know, buck up. I don't know if not a big holiday season person like old OGO out here, that we'll survive. I always feel way better after the new year by about like January 15th, you know, because I'm northern hemisphere, so by like about mid-January around here, by February for sure, you know, days are like noticeably getting longer, and you're like, oh, okay. So, yeah. Love you guys. Peace out.